I'm tired of hearing about it, quite frankly. I know it's part of the deal, but fact of the matter is Texas Tech's just a better basketball team right now. Baylor's still very, very good, but they've got some issues to work on. If they want to, make any type of run comparable to what deep run they were able to make last year, am I expecting a national title? No. Am I expecting them to have an early exit? No. So, where are they going to fall? I really don't know right now. With everything that's kind of going on, and with the herky-jerky nature of this season, you referred to it. It's like they get a big win, and then all of a sudden, like I don't know, it's very start-stop, it feels like, almost, with this team because of the injuries and then just the way the losses have kind of come. So it's been weird, but hey, nothing you can do but get back to the practice courts and get ready for the next one.
All right, I got to ask this on the air, and I hate to do it. Are we on the air? Are we on the air, Armstrong? All right, because the internet connection on my laptop went completely kaput, so I'm not sure if that also affects what we're doing with our feed on the YouTube channel and or everything else. But if we're here, that's good, and we'll get the internet reconnected. In fact, it just did. But I wanted to at least ask that question because it's kind of important. So on a night when L.J. Cryer came back and hit the first couple of threes, that was good. Didn't get to play a lot, 15 minutes. That's going to take some time for him to get back in it. I spent last night, and I want to bring this up. Ashley Hodge is going to join us today at 3:30. But listen, James Akinjo last night had 5 turnovers. He had 18 points. I believe he also might have been 6-7 assists and a couple of, whatever it was. And a fan, a Baylor fan, got on, and he wasn't the only one, but wanted to tell me that James Akinjo was the problem with Baylor basketball. I'll say this as well. I know that there are times he can drive you crazy, like there's other players that do that because it's just the way it is, and he does, to me, handle the ball almost sometimes too often as far as dribbling. I get that. But I don't know where this team would be without James Akinjo. Maybe 3 or 4 more losses on their record. I don't think they would be even a Sweet 16 team without him. Who's going to play point guard if he doesn't?
I think they'd actually have another win or two had he not been out of a couple of games. He changes the lineup completely. So, and even remember not having him and Flagler and Cryer all kind of almost at the same time, overlapping during different times, really hurt Baylor. I think what has happened, what you need to do is take the glasses off of the point guard. The guards last year were 3 guys in Maceo Teague, Jared Butler, and at the top with Davion Mitchell, who did not make mistakes. Davion Mitchell especially did not make mistakes. It's so rare. He was that good. So you're trying to compare him to somebody who never makes mistakes. I say never. Rarely made mistakes. And also maybe the best defensive point guard to play college basketball in the last decade. James Akinjo is not Davion Mitchell. So allow him to be James Akinjo.
Flagler's not Jared Butler.
No. They're different. So
Sohan or whoever, they're not Mark Vital. It's part of the deal of transition in college sports and even in professional sports as well. Listen, it's a team that has some issues. They're not bad. They can still get rolling. Now, Fran Fraschilla has been saying this, and I invited him on the show. I have for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and he's great to get on. But Fran Fraschilla keeps using the same thing by saying, well, this is going to make them better down the road. Well, by the time they've gotten down the road, they have something else go wrong. Like, for example, in this case, Jonathan Tchamwa-Tchatchoua. Now, can they get back into a flow, back into a rhythm just in time? Sure they can, but so can everybody else who's playing the game at this particular time as well. From Paula, okay, yeah, we were down for just a second. Glad we're back. Thank you very much. From John Cortez, what happened was Texas Tech. John, you're right. Texas Tech, I don't know if you saw any of the postgame, and I did. Mark Adams apparently was pretty damn blunt at halftime. And Baylor played nearly, not a flawless by any means, but they played a really almost flawless first half when it came to controlling the tempo, hitting their shots. As you said, 50% ball from the field. They had the crowd kind of out of the game. And then when Tech started to pound the boards and get second chance points, get some and ones, get some freebies, get some back, down the, hey, it gets the crowd juiced up.
Well, and one of the things if you look at the 5 losses that Baylor has this year, there's a common theme in all of them that the breaks that went their way last year, like when they made a play, for example, okay, you block a shot. Last year, those shots went into the hands of Baylor players. They went out of bounds, and it was Baylor's ball. Whatever happened, they got that luck. This year, in those losses, they block a shot, it bounces around for a second, it takes a weird hop right into O'Banner's hands, and he's got the ball, and they're resetting the play. So they're not. You don't see the kind of things in transition that they had last year either. That were big momentum swings. They don't have those big fast breaks all the time like they were constantly having. It's a different team. They're 21-5.
Yep.
It's not that bad.
No.
I got to tell you right now, one habit I'm getting real sick and tired of is fans freaking out over every little loss. At 21-5.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I know you don't want to lose to Tech. Tech doesn't want to lose to Baylor. If Tech lost to Baylor last night, there'd be some fan who wants to be crying about it or whatever. And, like, that happens with every fan base after every loss and whatever. But, yeah, they're 21-5. They've lost twice to Tech. Maybe Tech's just better this year. Are they like national champions and Baylor's like last place in the Big 12? No, they're very close next to each other. Tech's just beating them in the 2 meetings they've had. Maybe they'll have a third. Maybe they'll have a fourth for all we know. That could happen. But like the hand wringing after every loss this team suffers now. That's part of the deal that I'm kind of already
a little bit entitled,
little tired of already.
A little bit, yeah. And I mean, I get it though, and don't ever lose that passion because Baylor's really fed you when it comes to men's basketball, women's basketball, and even football in most of the years in the last decade.
And I don't want to call it entitlement either, because I don't think fans feel like they just are owed some national championship run. I think now just the bar is set so high. I do think talking about fans, I saw a Tech fan last night who was talking about Baylor, wins the national title and thinks that they're like they win a bunch of stuff lately and they act like they've been doing things for years or whatever. And there's those there's going to be a Twitter talk. Although I would say they've been doing it pretty consistently now for a while in multiple sports. So I think that guy's opinion is like about 5 years dated at this point. If he wants to talk about recent success, like that was a tweet from 5 years ago that you're still pulling up in 2022. So get with the times with that one. But, there is maybe a little bit of that for certain segments of the fan base of entitlement. But I think it's mostly just disappointment. You want to beat Tech, and you knew you had an opportunity to do so, and you couldn't close the deal. So there's some frustration there. I get that. But at the same time, for those who do take it a little bit too far or too seriously or too personal, it's a loss, and they've got games left, and they'll get back on the court, and they'll probably win more than they lose. You just can't lose too many more, or else your season's going to come to a close.
LJ Cryer was back. That's good news. Now the question, when you have something like he deals with, is how do you feel in the flight back? How did you feel this morning? How do you feel today, just maybe with conditioning, or how do you feel tomorrow? So that's good news, though. I can't imagine them playing like that again. Now, they also were embarrassed at Kansas, and they almost were run out of the arena against Alabama. And the second half against Tech was very similar. And so you know what you do if you're Scott Drew and company? You tweak it. You make some sort of adjustments, or maybe you can't. Maybe you just got to be better with what you have, because like Craig, Michael Jordan, Jared Butler, Maceo Teague, Mark Vidal, Davion Mitchell aren't walking through that arena into the practice facility. So, and hey, they're really good. Texas Tech has got a nice special chemistry and a chip on their shoulder. And they now play at Texas this weekend. Won't that be interesting, with a lot of Tech fans who have bought tickets, but also because Texas is going to load up that arena as well. So that's that last night. One thing that I did notice last night, and yes, did they miss Jonathan Tchamwa-Tchatchoua, not just on the boards, but also out in his perimeter, because he switch and all that with his length and his wingspan. Baylor was 1 of 6 or 1 of 7 at one point in the early part of the second half. And I saw the normal chatter, and there's some of the same people that want to immediately, 5 minutes into the game, say, my God, they're not getting any calls or whatever. Texas Tech basically could not score much most of the last part of the second half unless it was at the free throw line. But they took advantage of it by hitting 14 of 18 free throws. Baylor, with a lead, could have at least staved off a little bit of that onslaught by just hitting free throws. And they were 1 of 6 or 1 of 7 at one particular time. Might have been 1 or 2 at the front end as well of a one-on-one. And so that's not something that Tech did. That's something that you yourself was self-inflicted. But Texas Tech defense and the outside exterior passing, the cross-court kind of, you can't do that against that defense. And you couldn't do that against Baylor's defense when they were all in tune earlier this year, and of course, last year's team, they would gobble that up. So Right now, Kansas back in front. Texas Tech has a game lead, has a head-to-head with Baylor, number 2 in the conference. Baylor is now in second place as well, but they've lost the tiebreaker at least. They've lost the tiebreaker to Tech. We'll see what happens down the road. We will have Jerry Palm today